Ugh. Ugh. Oh! 3 of them.
3 in a row.
Well, a lot of sunrises in a row.
A lot of sunrises in a row. Just 3 on video.
3. Well, it's just us on video. The
true.
sunrise is it's for us to see and us to see only.
Facts. We actually beat the sun out this morning.
We beat the sun every day, Scotty.
Well, we do, but normally we get out here about a minute as it's coming up. This morning, man, it ain't even there yet.
It hasn't even thought. It's not. It's just a thought
she's
right now.
She's waking up. She's a thought.
There's something about waking up early. It just gets me. I love talking to night owls, and they're just like, bro, I work so well at night. I'm like, bro, past 8 p.m., I am useless.
It's like, you'll never know what the morning looks like.
I'm for the Netflix, dude. For the Netflix at night. That's it.
I just can't even imagine getting up late. Like, I can't imagine the people who, like, because I have a couple of really successful friends who do that.
You don't have friends, Scotty. Come on.
I have some very successful people that I know in my life.
That you've met.
That I've met.
They don't consider you friends.
No, they fucking hate me.
Yeah.
That they get up, like, because they work all night, because they're, like, just entrepreneurial, like, whatever, they like to work through the night, and they wake up at, like, noon every day.
That's disgusting.
But they'll, like, go to sleep at 6:30
Oh my
a.m.
God.
But they just love that lifestyle. I don't know. My ex-roommate used to do that, and he was really, like, the nicest guy in the world, but it was funny because I lived with him for a year and a half, but you know me, I wake up at 4 a.m., I go to bed at 10.
Yeah.
This dude...
Sometimes if we make bad decisions, we go to bed at 11 or 12.
Or 1 once in a while. That's a really hard night.
Once in a while.
That's,
Sorry.
But, no, like, he would literally go to sleep as I was, like, kind of getting my day going.
Oh, you told me this.
Yeah, getting my day going, and then I would go through my day building whatever I had to do, and I'd get home at night, and he'd just be like, I'd hear his alarm go off. And I was like, what the hell? But, dude, one of the most successful people I've ever met, so, you know, good on him. I mean,
I always wonder, though, too, like, there's two lanes. A, some people genuinely don't need the morning, and they are night people, and that's them. B, would those people I was going to combine perhaps and potentially and say potentially.
Sound like me.
Or potentially.
Potentially.
Would they thrive better in an alternate schedule? That's what I always wonder. I wonder if you took, like, I know somebody very, very successful who is quite a night owl, doesn't sleep much, though, goes to bed late, wakes up decently early, still experiences the morning. And I wonder, he's an anomaly. And he can do whatever the fuck he wants because he's a baller. But I wonder, though, if they switched the schedule up, if your boy went on would he miss out, like a 10 to 6, would he miss out on his nightly creativity and hustle? Or do you think he'd benefit more from that morning light, mood-wise, happiness-wise? I don't know. I just feel like I've reaped the benefits of the morning, so I wonder what would happen if a night owl did too.
I don't know. I mean, I think at that point, because he's been doing it for so long, and he's done it all throughout his success.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like, want to change anything.
Yeah.
Like, I would just be like, this is what I do. This is how I run. Like, and if he's happy, he's happy. You know,
Is he happy? Was he happy in his life?
Oh, 100%. No, like, he was one of those people, like, he had his friend group that he would go out with and see, like, at night.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like to go and do anything else. Like, he liked to work.
I get that. I don't understand it because I can't relate, but I get people doing that. There's just something for me about the morning. Like, just hearing those little birds. Those birds go away at night. I don't know where they go, but they're not there.
We do have that one tree that just houses
all infinite birds.
Every bird in the city.
Those are the 2 bird houses.
That's
There's
them.
2 of them, I think.
That's them.
I drove by one the other day. I rode my bike by one. Well, I don't know. I think I rode my bike by one. There was no noise of birds. And then I started picking up on them, and I get close to this one tree in someone's front yard.
It just went off.
And there's just like a million birds in this tree. It was in their yard.
I don't know. I wonder what rent costs there.
You think they pay?
100%.
Dude, what if animals paid rent?
We live in Arcadia. Everybody's paying here.
What if dogs had to pay rent? People got dogs just to cut the rent a little bit.
They technically do, because you have the pet deposit or whatever.
Yeah, but no, but who pays that, Scotty? Not Rory. It comes out of my bank account.
That's true.
And then dogs are expensive, too. I pay a lot of fucking money for this little cute guy who's an asshole.
You have insurance on your dog, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, he's like at least 10 to 12 G's in claims.
Most people don't realize you can get insurance on your pets. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. And I tell everybody, you need it. Okay, unless you buy like a golden retriever, you're probably fine. You know what I mean? They're just like perfect. Like there's nothing wrong with a golden retriever.
That's what I'm saying.
They might go to the vet twice.
They're superheroes. Well, no, I take that back. My when I was losing mine, he was at the vet.
Okay, when you're losing, that doesn't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah. Well, no, Bucky,
Maybe you buy pet insurance past 10.
Bucky's in the vet a lot just because he eats like raccoons and stuff like that because he lives on a farm. Like,
Yeah.
But that's normal because he eats raccoons. You know, like that's.
That's it. Rory eats poisonous mushrooms, marijuana.
Your dog eats. Where's he getting these things?
I'll explain in a second. There's
Okay.
one more. Melatonin pills. Whole bottle of those.
I was gonna say we don't do drugs or melatonin.
So.
Where is he finding this?
The mushroom, the poisonous mushroom, was growing in my old backyard.
Okay.
I didn't know he had a poisonous mushroom until he puked up two things that very much so appeared to look like mushrooms. We found out they were. I forget the name of them. I was part of a Facebook mushroom group.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. Just dad things.
Yeah, you know.
Just dad things. Marijuana, I had some friends over, and those friends brought friends. My friends know not to smoke in my house. Honestly, I'd probably have some friends I'd let smoke in my house if they just asked me.
Yeah.
But people didn't ask. People threw like a roach or something on the ground maybe. And Rari must have eaten it. And for those who think dogs get high, they don't. They get extremely poisoned, which looks a lot like they're high. Well, that's what all the vets will tell you. And I've had people insist that dogs can get high, so I don't really know the case on that one. If they eat it, I think it's poisonous for them.
Got it. If they smoke it.
All I know is I thought Rari was... If they smoke it, they have a really good time.
Just chilling.
But no, Rari almost died in my arms that day, for sure. I thought he died one time when I was in the car, because he just completely stopped living. And then, my dad was watching him. Not my dad's fault, because most dogs don't eat a bottle of melatonin pills. But Rari got a bottle of melatonin pills, and it's not melatonin that's toxic for dogs, it's xylitol. That's extremely toxic. And there's a lot of that, I think, in those melatonin pills, so... Yeah, he's also like 34 socks in, too. He swallows them. And
he does eat socks whole, yeah. That is true. He's a very remarkable animal doing that.
Just like his dad, you know?
Well, I was going to say, you're just kind of throwing away your socks
I'm
now,
throwing them away, and that's who picks them up.
He's picking them up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great recycle.
You want to know why dogs swallow things whole?
To save them?
Yeah, it's the fear of people taking them away. So I guess Rari's like...
It's like a pocket.
Oh yeah, he just keeps it. Yeah. You ain't taking this.
Yeah.
But no, I read because I was like, why would my dog eat my socks? And I think it's because like you'll give him a toy, and either if he tears a toy up, throw it away, or like if I don't know, sometimes he'll take his toys away from him, like exchange him. So I think if he like maybe really wants the sock, and he's like, you know what, this time he's not getting this one. So he just starts swallowing it, and he's like, haha.
Or he just
where'd it go?
Or he just gets in his mouth, and he's just kind of like, you know what, I think this could do something for me.
If you watch him swallow it, it's literally like a python. He doesn't chew it.
Wait a minute. You've watched him swallow it?
Correction. I've caught him halfway.
Oh.
So I could kind of see like what the process is like. Was it an eagle?
Bird was like 2
pterodactyls. We have them around here.
Anyway.
They're native to this area.
Arcadia.
And no, like I could just tell it's just half down his throat, half sticking out of his mouth. He's just swallowing. He's not biting. He's not. Yeah, and I don't know. Everyone's more so impressed that it gets down his throat. Which again, this is all bullshit. I got a better topic for today.
Yeah.
Whoa! Don't burp on camera, Sky. It's disgusting.
Sorry, hold it back.
Have some respect.
Sorry.
I want to dive into short form, more so on the complaining aspect.
I thought you were about to say I want to dive into shorts. I was like, can we get past like the socks and the shorts and stop talking about clothing items?
Shorts. Let's talk about the bottom half of the attire.
We're just moving our way
Let's get
up.
into shoes.
Next week we have wife beaters. Like.
Oh my god. No, I want to get into short form content because I feel like this is taking over the world. It's something I complain about a lot, but I definitely adapt as well. Mm-hmm. I don't complain and then fuck it off. I complain and then I'm its bitch at the same time. And I think everyone's talking about it. Every time I give advice to somebody either starting a channel or running a business, for some reason I'm accidentally telling them to put out short form content.
Yeah.
Like who was I talking to the other day? I was giving them advice. Oh, my buddy Tyler's here the other day. Extremely talented filmmaker. Mm-hmm. He shows me all these films, and these films are like short films. They're like a minute and 15 seconds. I'm like, bro, where the fuck's the vertical versions of these? That's because I'm thinking about how does he promote these, right? Small channel. How do you get a bigger audience? It was a beautiful car.
Big
it was
car,
a
guys.
GT3, but it's...
Where'd it go?
I think it's on a parallel road.
Yeah, that's not even
I
there.
think it's really loud.
It's like a ghost one.
It sounds like it's here, but it's probably like way down there.
That
We're
was
car
really-
people. Just
that was really
stop
loud.
it. And yeah, so I was thinking, every time I give people advice, I'm like, well, how do you access a max amount of people in the short amount of time?
Mm-hmm.
Short form. But I have this complaint where like it's like, I thought it was so funny. There was a week where like YouTube's been pushing shorts and all this.
Very hard.
And TikTok had an update recently where I think they started allowing, was it 10-minute videos or an hour 10-minute videos?
10 minutes.
So every other platform is trying everything in their power to become TikTok. They probably have a whole team. They probably name their team the TikTok team. I swear to God, they probably do.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell us this, but we know. And then TikTok's like, yeah, y'all are fucking stupid. 10-minute videos. It's like, all right, how about TikTok and YouTube? You guys get together and you fucking trade companies. We're trying to be you. It looks like you're trying to be us. How about we just...
I wonder if there's any like strategy there though, where it's like TikTok knows that short form is the future, and they know all these other companies are like following their lead. Because TikTok, let's face it, TikTok did this, and then everybody else started jumping on the bandwagon. Like everybody's following TikTok's lead right now.
TikTok was the first people to really coin short form content since
So
Vine.
exactly. So like, what if TikTok is like trying to play the old like Houdini here, where they're like, we're gonna do 10 minutes. And then we're gonna get everybody back on their platform to like start going like
they're gonna
up,
fuck everyone back
and they're
off.
gonna fuck everybody back off, and then they're gonna jump back into short,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's gonna turn into like 10 seconds. They're gonna like turn into the ads channel.
I mean, you know what I think it is short form's nailed. I mean, TikTok's nailed short form.
Mm-hmm.
So they know, as much as all the other companies try to compete, they're the primary short form business. Until YouTube drops monetization, when I still do believe that TikTok has the budget and access to do almost what YouTube's doing. They're not Google. They're not going to have access to those amount of ads. But still, if TikTok just monetizes a little, I think the creators will stay on TikTok for the most part.
Yeah.
The pure short-form creators. Now, with that being said, I think they realize that since they've got that on lock, and everyone's distracted trying to be that, and they know they're not going to win, it's like, well, let's just let that run.
Yeah.
That's going to compete with everyone on its own. Now let's branch out and focus on what the other people are no longer focusing on. They're taking their attention away from it. Maybe TikTok's got this master plan to be long form and short form.
I mean, I think TikTok's got this master plan to just take over everything.
Yeah.
You know, like all of a sudden they're gonna turn into like. It wouldn't surprise me in the next year if TikTok starts allowing like photos,
Yeah.
just for the hell of it, just to put them on there. You know, and then they kind of like start to backtrack. So like they were so progressive in like doing like short or long form or short form, long form, and then you know doing their TikTok thing. Like, what if they start like pulling it back? What if they start pulling it back so hard that they're like, okay, we're gonna allow photos, and then it goes even further, and they're like, you know, now you can like comment and like put like little captions, and
You
then
can write a tweet.
they go all the way back, and now it's like MySpace,
Yeah.
where you have like a profile and you can like
put some music,
exactly
some photos.
exactly.
No, I don't think they'll ever do that.
That'd be crazy.
I do think, though, if you really think about it, TikTok's figured a way to incorporate all the other platforms into their platform, right? Like, they'll clip up long form. That's you can watch. I mean, I've watched a whole 10-minute sequence of something in 10 different parts before they allowed 10-minute videos. I think that does even better than 10-minute videos. I think if you want to put a 10-minute video on TikTok, you should put 10-minute videos.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep attention better. You're going to have a bigger retention rate per video. And then on top of it, there's a way to share photos. We post photos all the time on TikTok. I'll take IG photos and make a TikTok with them almost every time I do a full shoot. So it's like, you don't notice it, but there is everything on TikTok. They've dominated all of it. It's just crazy.
They need to allow you more room in your bio though to talk.
Is there not a lot of room in our bio?
There's really not a lot of room in there.
To talk?
To talk.
Scotty's trying to talk in the bio.
I'm trying to be old school and put like
Hey,
Facebook
hit me
stuff,
in the bio,
What's
you know?
up, girl? How's it going? You know, no.
Write some little short novel you wrote for everyone, for the ladies.
Dude, you know what I'm saying? I spit some potent conversation.
Here's something on TikTok that I think they're missing out on massively. Message requests.
Yeah.
TikTok is definitely the closest thing to a social media dating app.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in the regard that everyone's on there. People get a really good idea for people's personality because it's much more personal. You give much more insight into your life. Like, you could use it as a dating app. You could scroll through girls or whatever you want. Dogs. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That was a joke. Dogs don't have TikToks either. It's personal.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
yeah, personal ones.
They might have hot owners.
Facts.
You could scroll through and just like search for girls, and like your For You page is essentially setting you up. If that's like the content you're watching, I say this like this sounds very familiar to me. It sounds like this is all I'm using TikTok for.
I was gonna say
Kind of a little
you
sus
have
right
a
now.
grand plan here.
Yeah. No, I think message requests would be smart. It's like, why would you not allow that?
And you just kind of gave me an idea. Like, when's the like next dating app coming out where it's like it's not photo, it's all based around video, where it's like you have to have video clips instead of
Just like TikTok.
exactly.
The problem is it's either, I think where the dating apps go wrong is you're making these videos purposefully. You're following the dating format. These videos are brain fart, specifically made to answer questions based on relationships, whereas I think there should just be a platform. I think TikTok's perfect in this regard. I don't think there should be another one. It's just like, you don't really care. When you're looking to date someone, you don't want all the cliche answers. You want to see them in their real, pure form.
That'd be just so funny if they had a dating app that was like based around that, where there was like questions you had to answer, but you had to answer them in video, and so everybody's thing was like a Love Island pull away. So it was like they were in front of like a screen and like answering a question, you know, like when they have like the actual shows playing, and then they like go out and it's like Bridget, and it says her name,
The
and her
interviews.
title. Yeah, the interview style. Like, what if they had that on like a dating app? Like, I feel like it'd be really weird, but I think that would be so. That's the kind of dating app I would like to be on because it'd be so funny.
I'm just confused. Who's asking the questions and
Well, no,
who's
like,
setting up the production?
You have like you set it up however you want to. You don't have to answer it like that.
Okay.
But it's like that's how I would do it, just to be comical. Is like make it almost like a getting voted off the island thing.
Oh, you're saying just your profile would have that?
Just my profile would have that, but you could answer the video in any form you wanted to. Like,
That'd be smart.
There would be like a queue up of like a question, and then you just answer the question on video. And so because I believe that you build rapport with somebody not through a photo. You can like see somebody when somebody's talking. You can see how they move. You can watch their eyes. You can watch how they. So you can get more of a read on somebody before you start going on a date. Because there's nothing worse than like being. Because I've been on a dating app. I know that.
You date?
Rarely, but like if they accept me. But like when you do that and you kind of like see their picture and you're like, oh, this girl's cool, and you can read through the bio and she seems amazing, but then you sit down with her and it's like talking to a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And it's like,
wow, a loaf of bread.
I've had some
at
really,
least sourdough.
Like pumpernickel, but like it's
not a second date there.
No,
huh?
not at all.
God.
You leave that date very very
God, no
uncomfortable.
pumpernickel here.
No, you can't wait for that one to be done. But like think about it. Like you really like. You can read something about somebody. You can look at their photos. You're like, oh, this girl is beautiful. She seems great. She's, in my case, she's Christian.
Dude, you're preaching the choir. I fall in love with.
That's what I'm saying.
Before, so I'm
but then, like, you sit down with them, and there's just nothing. But like, if you see like a video of somebody, you kind of like know their personality. You know their quirks.
That's what I mean. I understand the regard where there's lack thereof.
Yeah.
But yeah, on TikTok, no, I tell people this all the time. Like, and it depends on the content creator. If it's a person dancing, you're not going to understand their personality. But there are the creators that share a lot of their lives, and that, like, if 75% of your videos are talking videos about stuff, you get a really good idea of what somebody's like.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's like I think TikTok's taken like internet crushes to like real crush.
Like a weird.
I really like this person because I understand them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's where like the crazy fan comes from, and not to say that like fans are crazy. So I mean, if you're a fan of like yours, or if,
no, you mean the crazy fan.
Yeah, like,
there is the crazy fan.
There is the crazy
and that's
fan,
fine.
because we all have fans, and it's cool. And
no, we don't all have fans.
We all have fans.
I barely have fans.
I have an OnlyFans, but like
I only have one fan.
I have OnlyFans.
I have OnlyFans.
It's just me cooking in my socks, and it's just like. But you have those people who are they get so attached to you.
Yeah.
Like so attached, and you've never met this person in your life, but you realize that they have built such a strong connection with you in their head that they feel like they can say anything to you. Like
it's a classic phenomenon.
Yeah, you like owe them something, and you're like, I don't
owe
you anything.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, I don't owe you anything. Like I don't know you.
I think it's been talked about so much lately. Like I've heard it from a different creator. Like, it comes up in a lot of interviews. Like, is that classic phenomenon of like people know everything about you and you don't even know who they are, and it's a weird feeling. So you feel like you've built this sense of friendship with these people. And they have no idea that you exist. And so as a fan, as a consumer, that's a fine word, I guess.
That's a better word.
Sounds more like what Hershey's calls their customers. But as a consumer of their content, you almost have to be wary of that. You have to understand and kind of compartmentalize it. Like I know everything about them. I think I'm their friend, but I'm not. And if I met them and I'm more open to the idea that they don't know who I am, then I might be able to build some sort of quick connection with them as a fan. But it is kind of uncomfortable when a fan comes up and it's almost like a slap. It feels like it's a slap in the face to them, when it's like there's nothing you could have done about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be as nice as I possibly can already,
Mm-hmm.
but now I just feel like I'm shittier because you expected this of me. It's something that is impossible.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, when you're on social media, you're always an up-regulated version of yourself. You always are. Like, I don't care who you
Heightened.
are. You're always like that next level.
Unless
And
it's Be Real.
Unless it's Be Real,
Then you're
exactly.
still that,
then you're
'cause
still,
you're full
then
of
you
shit.
still set that
17
shit up.
minutes late ass.
Exactly. But, like, you have to, like, kind of look at it in that sense where if somebody comes up to you, you've done something in their life, and that's kind of what I always put myself in. I'm like, I don't know this person, but obviously I've done something to, like, impact this
them,
person.
yeah.
And I need to show up as the person who impacted them. And so you kind of have to find your line where, okay, what's too excited? What's, not exciting enough? Where do they know me at? And, like, where's the base level? And that was a challenge I really had for a while, where I just try to be, like, authentically myself. But I realized, like, I'm lucky enough where most of my stuff is I'm not really talking. I'm more of, like, the fashion side of things. And so when people come up to me, they're like, I appreciate your fashion sense and stuff, so I don't really have to, like, perform.
Do they get mad when you come up and then you're, like, dressed like shit and they're like, what the fuck?
I have had somebody say it. They're like, they came up because I've done sponsorships before where they're just like, hey, like, where's, like, the sense? I was in, like, shorts and a t-shirt.
Hey, bro, that doesn't match. What are you doing?
But he was just like, it was like, like, why aren't you wearing this? And I was like, because that was a video. Yeah. Like, I wore that one time.
I fucking hate those clothes, bro. I don't know.
It was an ad, dude.
But I will say, like, you do have an internet style and a home style.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
And I don't, and it's not that you don't like the internet style. What I think it is like, the internet is your creative path towards, like, scratching that itch of fashion that you enjoy, and then your day-to-day is more, like, usable.
Well, it's just fun because, like, if I was to create the content of me wearing the things that I wear at home every day, it would just be this.
Yeah.
It would just be this. It's like, it's comfortable and I'm editing and all that stuff. So when I go out and I actually have to, like, do stuff, it's, I have to put on the show. So it's not like I don't love dressing up and I don't love, the fashion side of things and putting together outfits and really doing it. But by the time you put all that stuff together and you go out, it's like you're just kind of doing it, like, and I don't want to force it. I like to just, like, let that creative sense come out. But I still have those days where it's like when you come downstairs and I'm like, damn, like, you put together a sick fit. I have to go do something. Like, it's like that kind of a thing. But no, I think you have to find, there's different sides of all of us, and you kind of just have to find your sides and double down on them whenever you know them.
I will say too, like, if a fan ran into you on, like, a night out,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna look pretty similar.
Pretty decent.
Like,
yeah.
that's where, like, it's not like you have a different fashion sense
Mm-hmm.
than your videos. It's just that, like, the video fits are it's like any social media, right? It's meant to be exaggerated. It's like, this is how I'd be dressing if I was going out. And when they watch that video, it almost feels like you are out.
Exactly.
And it gives that sense of, like, I don't want to watch Scotty sit at home. I want to watch Scotty be on his way to going out or feel like he's out and about.
And it's also, I really like to give value. And so I like to show people what they can do.
Yeah.
And so it's more of giving you, like, that little push of, like, hey, I'm going out in this. Like obviously I'm going out to take photos. Like, I'm not scared of it. Like, have a little fun.
Yeah.
Like, you can dress a certain way because people are going to look at you no matter what.
I have
like,
pink hair, so
yeah,
I get that.
People are going to look at you either way. So, I mean, just be okay with it and be comfortable and then experiment. That's the fun part about style and fashion is it's yours.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with it. And you do this amazingly where it's like, you throw together some stuff that I'm like, I could never do that, but he fucking pulls it off. Like, I don't understand it once in a while, but it's cool.
You know what's funny is sometimes I'll put something together and I'm like, this looks weirdly good. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this looks good. It shouldn't look good. Mm-hmm. And people are going to think, they're not going to think that it looks bad.
Yeah.
They're just going to be thrown off because they've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like pioneering in a way where it's like no one's going to understand yet.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll do it, I'll be like, at the end of the day, for some reason I think this looks good. So who the fuck cares? The other day I came on in a wife beater with a tank top over.
I know.
I don't know why. I have no idea how that... I was wearing a wife beater,
mm-hmm.
and I had this tank top that I didn't like how it fit.
Yeah.
It's like, what if I put the tank top over the white... Have you seen that, like, that look that people do, like, super cut necks with a wife beater underneath?
Yeah.
So then... Because if you wear just a cut neck, it'll feel fucking weird. You'll feel a little sus that day.
Yeah.
At least me.
Yeah.
But if you throw the wife beater under, it adds, like, a layer where it doesn't feel like it's just that.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I do that with a tank top? And it just looked good. And I've had this with other things. Like one time I wore something to a wedding that people thought, oh, I wore a wife beater under a blazer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not something I didn't create that. I've seen people do it. But a lot of people were like, what the fuck is, like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
And they might not think it looks cool, but I thought it looked cool. So if I really think it looks cool, then I shouldn't really give a fuck.
Yeah, and that's what's really cool about it is fashion sense. It's so personalized. It's like, what do you feel if you feel comfortable and you feel confident in it, wear it, dude. Like, I went to dinner with one of my buddies, or a dinner with a few different buddies the other night, and we're all kind of like, you know, dressed in like our normal stuff. And one of my buddies showed up in like a button-up, like, you know, what is it? Not wool, but like the cotton like cardigan vests, like with no sleeves, and it's like a button-up. It's like he showed up in just that with a necklace and like a black pair of jeans, and it was tucked in.
Looks sick.
It was the coolest look, and I was like, what about that is dope?
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't figure it out the entire night, but I was like, it's the reason it's dope is because first of all, he was so confident wearing it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't show up and go like, what do you guys think? It was like, no, like I'm just rocking this. Like I don't give a shit.
Isn't that
like,
funny? If you said, what do you guys think? We'd be like,
the entire night you'd be thinking like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But
Yeah.
like he showed up, and then I was like, that, like, it made me want to go get one.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the cool part about style is it's like that. See it, try it. If it works for you and you like it, it's like holy shit. Because I remember the first time I saw you come downstairs, you're the king of wearing 2 different shoes, and I think that is like the weirdest, coolest thing because it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a unique little change.
Yeah.
But just that little change.
It's just different.
Yeah. It's
That's
just that little change is insane to me.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
Yeah. I just remember it was like, the first person I ever saw do it was Rory Kramer, if you know who that is. Big
Okay.
videographer, shoots for like Bieber.
Okay.
He would take it so far though. He'd wear like a high top old school van and a low top old school van. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, what? And I really had always wanted to come to Garcon Converse. That was the first shoe I did this with.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. I think I did it with classic Vans. I had a white and a red pair. I was like, what are colors I wear similarly? Like red, black, and white to me are always a color group that I end up wearing.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a little touch. And so when I was buying my Come to Garcon Converse, I was like, I need these mix match because it's just cool. I don't know. It's just like I always, you know me, I hate doing shit the same as people.
Yeah.
So any little excuse to do something different, he's like, I want to come up so badly.
Come here.
I will do so. One of my favorite topics is I understand we're getting older. You especially.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So I at this point, I just know it's coming every time we say
You're-
old.
Your museum material.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
I have been aching so much lately. Like, I think it's just, we're almost calling it into, like, existence at this point. Where, like, every day I wake up, I'm like, damn, they're right.
Scotty, when he sits down every day.
And it's even worse when I get up, it's just, and I had the worst thought last night. I was getting out of your car. I was like, fucking low cars. And I was like, I am so old.
He's 28.
I was like,
You're so young.
I need to get, like, a Bronco or something
Oh
where
my
it's like, it's
God.
always easier to get up higher when you're older.
You need to get one of those easy access ramps into like the back of a van.
Little stairs, yeah.
We're getting older, and I understand that this could contribute, but I've realized I don't think this is the factor. And that's typically people's rebuttal to what I'm going to say. I think our generation right now, there's a lot of pros and cons of our generations. I think one of the big pros that comes along with social media, this also is a pro in social media, health and wellness and fitness are bigger than they've ever been.
No.
And another topic which we'll get to next, which kind of is along the same lines, is not going out, not partying, going to bed early, waking up early, taking care of yourself, working hard, is cool now.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I'm going to use when I was younger, and so typically people are like, well, I think it's just because you're growing up. But I can clearly remember when I was younger, when I was 15, if I went to the gym, I was the only 15-year-old in the whole gym. So for that regard, I can tell that fitness is becoming bigger because there's so many more eyes on it that these younger kids, and Alex Eubank actually said the other day, he's like, I'm getting blown away by some of the physiques I see of these like 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah.
He's like, I started lifting at 16. He's like, these kids are lifting at 14, like accessing newbie gains, which is what you call when like you're younger and you've just got this testosterone and growth hormone probably running through your body. He's like, and these kids are 16. He's like, I see this incredible physique, and this kid's fucking 17. Like, who would have known? And I think it's so cool. Like, we were at the gym we were at Mountainside where I like to go. I keep seeing all these young kids. I told you that one story where there's these 2 kids. They must have been fucking 13. Like spotting each other, like teaching each other, being like a team. And I had to go up to them and like give them nuts just to like imprint on them at that early age that like what they're doing is cool.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were young, you went to the gym. It wasn't cool. It was
No.
like, wait, bro, you like give a fuck about health? Let's go get fucked up. That's like, health is weird. You know what I mean? And I think that's so cool now that all these things that are good for you, that is you taking care of yourself and your future, is becoming cool.
Yeah.
It's a huge culture shock for me.
And I think it's just, it's you want to fit in and you want to be liked by other people, but I think it's more of like that gang mentality, because when you see kids that are that young in the gym now, it's never one.
Yeah.
You never see one of them. You
True.
see like a group of them.
True.
And it's one of them has the idea where it's like, we should go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are like, like whatever. And there's different pods. So you'll see like the guys who are like, there's like 4 or 5 of them that are actually trying to lift and get better. But then you have the other side of it where it's like, it's the new mall.
The people we see the other day, they're just literally hanging out, like climbing on things like monkeys.
Because when we were young, it was like you go and walk around the mall.
Yeah.
Now it's like you go and you hang out at the gym and you like
in your
pick
fucking Spider-Man costumes.
Yeah, and you like pick up a weight and you're like making jokes with your buddies.
Wait.
And it's like, okay, and you're walking around like a shake.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a place to hang out, which, is it cool that they're there and they're like experiencing it? Yeah, absolutely. But that's like, at what point are you getting in the way?
Yeah.
And you don't want that. But no, I'm right with you, where I love the fact that like kids are getting in and they're really experiencing it. And then like, to your point, there's a lot less like, let's go out and get fucked up. Let's not do this. Let's not do, because we did have that wave where everybody was like, oh, we're going to do drugs. We're going to go hang out. We're going to go do like,
when we were in high
whatever.
school, that's like,
that was it.
all we did from sophomore to senior
That was
year.
it. It was just, you drink and you do drugs, and that was it. And it was like, that was cool. But now the cool thing is like, it's like, oh, you're drinking?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, and weirdly enough, I think that's kind of come from like the seltzer age, where it's like alcohol is like more like people are starting to think about calories and stuff like that. And so it's like, well, no 17-year-old sitting around having a glass of bourbon.
Yeah.
Or like getting like fucked up on vodka.
There's some 17-year-old watching. He's like, dude. A good bottle. What do we got? Makers gets me, dude.
Sitting around with a glass of Blanton's at night, But like, it's really cool, man, and I think it's gonna keep going. I think this is one of those trends that's just gonna keep going as more people kind of come into the fact that health is everything, and everybody's really focused on it, and how much better you feel when you're healthy. And I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm not gonna say like the big like McDonald's and all these fast food places are going to start going away.
No, they're not.
But I feel like they're going to start having to adapt to like a healthier mindset.
I agree.
They're going to have to start having like lower calorie
And I don't think
options.
we're there yet.
No.
But I think we're on route, and I think it also has contributed to the insecurity factor, where I think when we were young, there was the insecurity that kept you away from branching out and doing the things. Like, I was a kid who rode scooters and wanted to work. I've talked about this. And that made me a little insecure in some regard until I realized that in 5 years it's not going to matter. Mm-hmm. And so I think kids now are like, well, I'm almost insecure if I go out and party because these kids are probably at the gym right now. Mm-hmm. And if I'm at a party doing drugs, I guess the partying thing's not, it's a weird example because you're never going to alleviate that. Kids are going to party, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just party responsibly. But I think...
Wait till you're 21.
Yeah. We wink. But no, I really do think that it's like this sense of almost getting left behind. It's like, if I don't take care of my health and I don't start hustling, then these kids are.
Yeah.
And that's what you think about when you're younger. And even, I'm not even saying this is in my demographic. This is in your demographic.
Everybody.
Health and wellness is huge right now.
Look at my dad.
And my dad never took care of himself when he was young, and now he does. It's so weird. And it's not just that. I really think it's to incorporate hustling and stuff like this. Like, even I was telling you, I was watching that Vic Blends video this morning of this 12-year-old kid. And again, whether Vic Blends actually sets these up or not, my guess is it wasn't. They always look like they're caught off guard. I think he just found this kid walking with his dad, or he had like his family around. But it's like, what are the odds you find a 12-year-old kid who's just, the kid wanted to be an engineer at MIT, he wanted to be a YouTuber, but he had like these logical reasons for why not. But I think he also stated that like, he made that comment that like, if you still need to start, which it's like these thoughts that we're learning at this age, that kids our age had, when we were young, no one had that mentality.
No.
Nobody.
No.
And I think it's so cool that we're there right now.
I think it goes right back to social media. I think these kids are seeing things that they're experiencing life through somebody else's life and realizing, like, I can do that. So it's that pitter down effect. So, it's almost like myself seeing, like when I was getting into fitness, it was like I love seeing Jeff Nippert because I love science. He paired science with working out and made it awesome. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, like he's taking a science-based approach. It's not just some dude in the gym throwing weight around. You get to
learn. Yeah. You feel like you're learning.
Exactly. And so you kind of want to experiment and try what he says. And so I'm one of those people that if somebody says something, I want to try it to see if it actually works. And so he'd be like, if you're doing something on bench, try doing this and activating a different part of your chest. And so I'd analyze it and be like, okay, I want to go try that. Yeah. And then you go and try it and you're like, oh my gosh, like it hit a different muscle group or it felt a little different. He was right. And then you just kind of keep going down that rabbit hole of learning. And then you start bringing other people in where it's like, now you've got like the Joe Andrews who every single day he posts his workout. Yeah. And it's like, it gives you, that sense of, because obviously when you're training, you want to have a set plan if you want to maximize results. It's basically you do the same thing. You basically do the same workouts consistently, whatever your split is. But Joe Andrews every single day goes on and he does a different workout. And I think there's so much benefit in that as a new beginner lifter.
So you don't get bored.
And you're experiencing things because like at that point you get to see because there's some workouts that like we were talking about bench yesterday. You don't feel a lot on bench. Yeah. But you could feel a lot on a dumbbell decline press. Yeah. It's still working your chest. Yeah. It's just working in a different way. And so you get to experiment and have some fun with it and you get to build your own program and build your own life around it, which is really dope.
It's how we're talking about food, right? Like, some people go into eating healthy, and they think they need to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli forever. And it's like, that actually might be the quickest route to looking great. Mm-hmm. That might be it. But sometimes you need to pull away from the quickest route and try to create something that is a balance of... what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not accuracy, a balance of strategy and sustainability.
Well, that's right? That's where my plans come in. It's like it's a flexible approach. Where like you can have a pizza, you can have like what we've been making, like you last night with the ice cream. It's like there are alternatives now, and that's the world we live in, where you don't have to do the chicken broccoli rice. The reason the chicken broccoli rice works so much and so well is because you take away every variable.
Correct.
It's like it's chicken, it's broccoli, and rice. You know exactly.
And calorically, you're getting the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, and probably the right amount of fat.
Exactly, and you're so in tune with that. That's it. Like that. Yeah. That's why it works so well. Yeah. That's why all these people like that are like in fitness and health and like in the movies and all that stuff is like whenever you look at their plan, it's like it's chicken, broccoli, rice. It's so boringly there. It's because it works.
It's the blueprint.
It works.
But from a perspective of someone who's getting into fitness and they're not either passionate about it, because passion will fuel everything, makes everything easy. If you're passionate about fitness, eating broccoli, chicken, and rice isn't that hard.
It's nothing, yeah.
But for the regular mundane person, that's not sustainable. No. They're going to hit a wall one day. Now, if you start, and this, I'm relating this back to what you said about the gym. If you get into the gym and you start doing these one set workouts and you don't really have a passion for it yet, you're going to get bored and you're going to hit a wall. If you start switching it up, it might not be the ideal route, but it's more sustainable in the long run, so your long-term success is going to be better.
Exactly, and you'll find the passion, while you're in there and you're doing that. And then once you get to a point of, okay, I've gotten some kind of knowledge in this, now I need the structure. Yeah. That's when you find a plan that's like, this works for me, I can run this for 12 to 16 weeks and see what happens. And then after that, then you can kind of see what worked, what didn't, and it's all data. At the end of the day, you just have to do your own data, and that's why, you see these people walking around with, like, their notebooks and stuff and tracking progressive overload and tracking all these things. It's like, dude, like, all they're doing is gathering data and making sure they can say, okay, I'm actually progressing. Because we all know those people, and I was one of those people where I was just in there throwing weight around for such a long time that you're never tracking anything, you're never making any progress, you're just kind of in there moving weight.
You're just looking at the mirror. Exactly. Am I looking different?
Exactly, and so you just kind of, that's what you track for is the data.
I think that applies too to life, is like, sometimes you need to sacrifice efficiency for sustainability. Mm-hmm. And I mean that in the way that, like, sometimes maybe in your work, there's a route that's the best, most ideal route for success, but you might need to branch off a little bit and do it a little differently to tailor to your needs so that it can last longer.
Exactly.
Because success is it's a marathon, not a sprint.
100%.
I know I sprint marathons, obviously, but no, I really think, like, sometimes people are too much in a rush and they're going to burn out before they even get there.
Exactly.
It's like if you keep a pace, you're going to sacrifice speed, right? You're going to sacrifice time, but for the long game, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And I hope that
100%.
like resonates and like goes across. But I feel like we talk about fitness too much because we're a bunch of fucking fitness nerds.
True.
That was just something I wanted to touch on because I think I always get the question of like, is social media good or bad? And I think one of the biggest pros to that is this culture it's building. And it's a way when we were young, we never had access to watching Jordan Peterson. It's not that we didn't have access. There'd be no reason for us to watch that.
Yeah.
Or watching Jordan Belfort explain where he went wrong in his life.
Exactly.
Again, I'm just trying to give off examples. But I think kids now, it's not even that they have access to it, it's being put in front of them.
And it wraps back around to short form content where
yeah.
it's like, it's such a short piece of what somebody said that you're intrigued about what else they have to say.
I agree.
And so then you're going to consume the long form.
Yeah.
It's a hook.
All right, last thing I want to get into.
Yeah.
Regret. I feel like this is the most cliche question to get answered or to get asked, and then the most cliche answer, and I do this, I'm sure there's a snippet of me on the internet, because I really don't think I do, but like the cliche of, I don't have regrets.
Yeah.
Do you think we all have regret? Do you think there's a way of completely eliminating regret? Or do you think when we say I don't have regrets, it's because we know we shouldn't?
I think when somebody says they don't have regrets is because they regret something, and they had to learn through it. So I don't think you ever eliminate regret by any means. I think you're always going to have something in there that you think about.
Yeah.
It reoccurs in your mind. Because I think that obviously you're going to have things that you missed out on.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, well, shit.
I could have done this better.
Exactly. And I think you kind of dance around the word instead of like admitting that it is regret. It's more like, oh, I missed the opportunity. Oh, I missed this. Oh, this didn't happen.
It was
for me.
a learning
It was a
opportunity.
learning opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like, just say it. Like, it's okay. Like, we all have those things where you're going to have a regret that you didn't do something. But I think the word regret has such a negative connotation where everybody's like, they beat you down where they're like, you shouldn't have regrets in life. It's like, okay, well, now I feel like shit if I say I have a regret, so I'm not going to say it.
So I'm just going to cover it up.
So I'm going to cover it up.
But I do think there's a way to teach yourself to not have regrets.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I guess my point here was that there's no way, most people, I think, regret things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a minority group of people that have figured out and started to understand what these either bad things or bad decisions have brought them in life, and I think that is, and the reason I bring this up is because we had this conversation yesterday that, like, one of the best things I've learned lately is if you can get in a mentality, like, I've really been living in this mentality of when bad shit happens to me, the reason I don't get angry, people always ask, like, how do you not get mad? Like, why don't you get mad at shit? It's because every time something bad happens, I have this fucked up perspective of, like, it must have happened for a reason to teach me something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recently filmed a video that most people, I'm sure, have fucking seen. And in that video was, like, one of the first times I actually realized I did regret something. And it was regret. Now, it was a situation where I almost felt like I couldn't have learned from what I did wrong. Mm-hmm. It was I genuinely was lying to myself that I didn't need to do what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I regret that. I wish I was honest with myself and just did it back then.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like these alleyways of regret where like it is regret you feel. There's no learning experience that you could have learned from it. It's just I could have and maybe should have done that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's the situations where you can still do it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Like what if it's you regret something that you can still do? Mm-hmm. I regret not having gone skydiving 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because when I did it 2 years ago, it was great.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the two alleyways of regret. It's like on one regard, there's the things that there's no reason to sit over because A, you can't change it. B, you learned something from it. It happened for a reason. Maybe you lost $100,000 gambling and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have put it all on black. And it's like, that was a lesson. Life had to teach you that. You had to lose $100,000 there to either maybe you were going to become a gambler, whatever it may be, so don't regret on that.
Yeah.
But then there's situations of regret where maybe it's like you still have the opportunity to do good. You still have the opportunity to go back. Mm-hmm. You're not going back and fixing it, you're just fixing it in the now.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think regret, I think one thing that people do is they sit in regret as in it's just a one track.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing that I ever learned about regret is the easiest way to get through regret is acceptance.
Yeah.
And that was such a big learning curve for me when you start to think about it and you're like, man, like this happened. It happened. Like you kind of like you sit in it for a second and you kind of go like, man, like that fucking sucks. But then you realize,
But it's in the past.
It's in the past. It's gone.
What
it's
am
like,
I able to do?
It's just like accept it. Like
Yeah.
okay, it's fine. Like and it can go back to like the baby steps and the baby learning phases and like what we talked about the other morning when I came upstairs and I was like talking about the fact that when we moved in here, I don't have a lot of storage space in my bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've always had this little bottle of like oil that I use like on my face and on my beard and all this stuff. And every time I look at it, I'm like,
story.
every time I look at it, I was like, and we've lived here for 4 months. Every morning I open up and I see it sitting on the counter, and I'm like, that is gonna fall one day if I don't move it. But I'm not gonna move it. Like I always think I'm like that thing's gonna fall over. And then, of course, the other morning I'm sitting next to it and I'm looking at it. I'm like, that thing's gonna fall one day. I can't. I don't know. And I also have my bottle of lotion, which comes in a glass bottle, and I was sitting next
What's
to it.
that lotion for? Keep your hands up?
Exactly.
Facts.
Feet. But and I was looking at it, I was like, that's glass too, that's gonna fall.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm not gonna do anything about it because I'm like, I haven't
You're
knocked
a lazy piece of
yeah,
shit.
I haven't, and I was like, I haven't knocked over the first one, I'm not gonna knock it over. And then behind that is hairspray, and that's just like a can. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm doing my hair, and I reached down to get it, and I grabbed the hairspray. I came forward, I knocked the moisturizer, and I was like, shit, that's gonna fall. I go to grab the moisturizer. When I went to grab the moisturizer, I hit the bottle of oil, and the bottle of oil fell out. Went to grab that hit the ground, shattered. So I went back to grab the can, dropped the moisturizer, both of them shattered. So in that moment, I'm regretting not moving it because now I have to clean up the mess I made.
Correct.
But then I also accepted, I was like, that's my fault
That's
that I
a lesson.
never, yeah, I was like,
That's a
that's my
lesson.
fault that I never moved either
Yeah.
of them.
You
know?
deserve to clean them up.
I do, and I accepted that. I was like, I accepted the fact, and in that moment, you can get, because that's the problem, is everybody ends up getting angry in
Right
that
there.
moment.
Fuck.
There's, fuck, God damn it, like,
Yeah.
but in that moment, I just laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, I was dumb enough to
Yeah.
just not move either of these, and just that 1 second that I could have taken to change this would have changed this entire situation here. But it's the acceptance of, okay, I learned. I should not do that. I'm going to change that next time. You know, and that's a very small example of regret.
Yeah.
Like I regret the fact that like
you just didn't move it.
I didn't move it.
And you knew you should have.
Yeah, but I accept the fact that I was an idiot and didn't move it. That's my fault.
Yeah.
You know, and so you just move forward.
There is no regret.
Yeah,
It's,
there's nothing.
I deserve that.
Yeah, I accept it. I accept
Yeah.
that it happened. You know, I think that's the biggest way to get around regret is just accepting the fact that it's gone.
It's to have no regrets.
No regrets.
It's tight, dude.
No regrets.
Weed is tight. Weed is tight.
Weed is tight.
Not
Weed is
actually,
tight.
don't
No, don't do
do
it.
it.
Don't do it. Yeah. Wait till you're 21 to drink and party.
I did.
I did. Not.